Since its founding in 1930, the Nation of Islam, NOI, has grown into one of the wealthiest and best-known organizations in Black America, offering numerous programs and events designed to uplift African Americans. Nonetheless, its bizarre theology of innate black superiority over whites, a belief system vehemently and consistently rejected by mainstream Muslims, and the deeply racist, anti-Semitic and anti-LGBT rhetoric of its leaders, including top minister Louis Farrakhan, have earned the NOI a prominent position in the ranks of organized hate. In its own words, he Jews don't like Farrakhan, so they call me Hitler. Well, that's a good name. Hitler was a very great man. He wasn't a great man for me as a black person, but he was a great German. Now, I'm not proud of Hitler's evils against Jewish people, but that's a matter of record. He raised Germany up from nothing. Well, in a sense you could say there's a similarity in that we are raising our people up from nothing. Louis Farrakhan, radio interview, March 11, 1984, Jews have been conclusively linked to the greatest criminal endeavor ever undertaken against an entire race of people, the Black African Holocaust. The effects of this unspeakable tragedy are still being felt among the peoples of the world at this very hour. The Secret Relationship Between Blacks and Jews. NOI book, 1991. Who are the slumlords in the black community? The so-called Jews. Who is it sucking our blood in the black community? A white imposter Arab and a white imposter Jew. Speech by NOI national official Khalid Muhammad, in November 29, 1993, these false Jews promote the filth of Hollywood that is seeding the American people and the people of the world and bringing you down in moral strength. It's the wicked Jews, the false Jews, that are promoting lesbianism, homosexuality. It's the wicked Jews, false Jews, that make it a crime for you to preach the word of God. Then they call you homophobic. Louis Farrakhan, Savior's Day speech, Feb. 26, 2006. Background for what would become one of the largest and best organized groups in the history of Black America, the Nation of Islam, NOI, had a relatively obscure beginning. Founded by a mysterious clothing salesman in the ghettos of Detroit in 1930, NOI was considered an insignificant, if highly media-worthy, voodoo sect throughout much of the 1930s and 1940s. Founder Wallace D. Fard. According to the FBI, other aliases include Farid Muhammad, Wallace Dodd, Wallace Ford, Wally D. Ford, Wally Ford, Wallace Farid, and his messenger and successor Elijah Muhammad preached a hybrid creed with its own myths and doctrines. These held that over 6,000 years ago, the black race lived in a paradise on earth that was destroyed by the evil wizard Yaqub, who created the white devil, through a scientific process called grafting. Fard and his disciple preached of a coming apocalyptic overthrow of white domination, insisting that the dominion of evil was to end with God's appearance on earth in the person of Fard. Following this, NOI predicts an epic struggle in which the Nation of Islam will play a key role in preparing and educating the original people, who ruled the earth in peace and prosperity until Yaqub's blue-eyed devils came along to gum things up. The Nation of Islam teaches that intermarriage or race mixing should be prohibited. This is point 10 of the official platform, What the Muslims Want, published in 1965. Ironically, Fard's FBI file concludes he was born in New Zealand on February 26, 1891 to a British father and Polynesian mother. The California Bureau of Identification and Investigation had Fard listed as Wallace Ford, while San Quentin State Prison had him listed as Ford. Michigan State Police and the Los Angeles Police Department had him listed under Wallace Farid and Wally D. After determining that all individuals shared the same fingerprint, the FBI found, in all cases he is listed as Caucasian. Despite the initial group's small size and early setbacks, Fard and his disciple laid the groundwork for what the group was to become in the 1950s and 1960s. From the start, NOI was tightly organized, a fact most clearly seen in its creation of the elite Fruit of Islam, a group envisioned by Fard as a paramilitary wing to defend NOI against police attacks. In the 1940s, messenger Elijah Muhammad also began constructing what would later be considered the nation's empire, purchasing the group's first bit of Michigan farmland in 1945 and founding businesses and educational ventures in several states that a decade later were valued in the millions. NOI's real boom came during the 1950s, however, when the advent of the civil rights movement and the violent reactions it provoked converged to make NOI's depiction of the white devil pertinent to a much larger sector of Black America. New members, including Malcolm X and heavyweight champion Muhammad Ali, Cassius Clay before joining NOI, added visibility to the group and, in the case of the former, contributed directly to a meteoric membership increase, appointed to the prestigious leadership of Harlem's Temple No. 1947 in New York City. Just 2 years after his 1952 release from prison, Malcolm X was wildly popular, and his years as a prominent member of NOI, 1952 to 1964, saw membership skyrocket from around 400 to between 100,000 and 300,000. But the nation's vituperative language and its advocacy of self-defense in place of nonviolence alienated it from mainstream civil rights groups. By 1959, Martin Luther King